26, short and long modifier used with float. So let's move on. Modifier and its type. So in the previous video we have learned about the modifiers, different kinds of modifiers. Okay, and in this video we are going to learn about the short and long that is going to be used with the float data type. And in the previous video we have learned about the short and long data type that is going to be used with the integer. So in this video we are just going to learn about the short and long modifiers which is going to be used with the float data type. So let's look at. So as we have studied and we have differentiate and we have categorized our modifier into this section, or we can say this part, that was signed, unsigned, short, long and long. Okay. Now you can see here is that we have studied about the signed that is going to be used with the integer. We have studied about the unsigned modifier that is going to be used with the integer value, and we have also studied with its character data type. And after then we are just going to learn about the short and long. And in the previous video we have learned about the short and long that is going to be used with the integer data type. Now in this video we are going to learn about the short and long that is going to be used with the float data type. Okay, so this is what we need to consider here. So let's look at modifier used with the float. So we can say that modifier that is going to be used with the float is categorized into two sections, or we can say two parts. One first is short and the second one is long. So these two modifier is going to be used with the float data type. Okay, so short and long is going to be used with the float data type. So these two are the modifier that is going to be used with the float data type, and we will learn about that how it is going to be used. So let's look at the short and long that is going to be used with the float data type. So a float data type allows short and long. Okay, it doesn't allow signed and unsigned, as we have studied that integer data type allowed signed and unsigned, character data type allowed signed and unsigned. What float data type only allows short and long. Okay, so it doesn't allow signed and unsigned. So if we try to preceded a float type variable by signed or unsigned, then compiler prompt an error message. So it's so simple, we can say. If we try to create a signed or unsigned for a float data type, then the compiler is going to make or create an error message, or can give you an error message that is not working on the C language. So here what we have concluded that, what we have observed that, we have observed that a float data type only allows short and long modifier and not signed and unsigned. So if we try to precede a float data type variable by signed or unsigned, then compiler give you an error message. Okay, so this is what about the modifier that is going to be used with the float. So let's look at the short with float. Now when we use a short with a float, then it doesn't create any effect on the ranges. So this is, so we can say that when we are just going to be used the modifier that is short with the float data type, okay, then the range is not going to be changed. The range is not going to be affected. So this is what we have studied in the short. And in the previous video we have dealt with the short that is going to be used with the integer. Now in this video we are going to deal it with the short that is going to be used with the float data type. Now here you can compare the two things. What we have studied here is that, and what we have to study here is that modifier used with the float, and it has been classified into two parts, that is short and long. Okay, that is short and long. Okay, and we have also studied that a float data types allows only short and long and not allows signed and unsigned. And we have studied about the signed and unsigned that is used with the character as well as integer data type. So if we try to precede a float type variable by signed or unsigned, then compiler is going to give you an error message, and this is what is the criteria that you need to follow, and this is the rule of the C language, you can say compiler follows this. Now, and we are just studying about the sort with the float. So here we can say that when we use a sort with the float, okay, so when we use a sort with the float data type, okay, then it doesn't create any effect on the range, because we have studied about that signed has some range, unsigned has some range, signed always accept negative as well as positive number, whereas the unsigned accept only positive number. So these were the rules we have studied in the previous lecture. Now in this lecture we are going to deal with the sort with the plots. So here I am just revising you about the things, about the point that when we use a sort with a float, then it doesn't create any effect on the range. So this is what we can say sort with the float. Now, for example, here you are seeing that we have declared float, and in that, here you are seeing that we have declared float. Again, you are seeing a sort. Sort is used with the float. Okay, sort is used with the float here, and float is the data type, and this is a variable. So variable A is carrying a data type float, and whose modified is sort. So it A range is not going to be changed because we have uses the sort. Okay. So A is that variable which hold the float data type. Okay. And its size might be 4 byte, and it is of modifier sort. So we can say here is in this example also. Here we are using a variable A that is going to be used with the data type float, and we have used the two modifier here, sort and sign. So sort is not going to, what we can say, sort is not going to make any changes on the range, or we can say create an any changes on the ranges, because we have studied here is that sort does not affect anything on the range, and signed always assign the positive as well as negative value. So A can be positive as well as negative value as well as float data type it should be, and of modifier sort. So this is the example of sort that is going to be used with the float data type. Okay. Now let's look at the long that is going to be used with the float data type. So when we use long modifier with the float, okay, as we have studied as a modifier that is going to be used with the float are categorized into two parts, that is short and long. Now we are just studying about the long data type. So when we use the long modifier with the float, so float is the data type and long is the modifier, then it allocates 8 byte memory space on the RAM. So we can say that when we use long modifier, so its area is going to be wider as compared to integer, as compared to what we have studied about the sort. So its area is going to be becoming larger. So what we are studying here is that when we use a long modifier with the float, then it allocates 8 byte memory space on the RAM. And we have studied about the integer data type also, and its size was, we can say, 2 byte. We have studied about the character data type and its size was 1 byte. So same as we can say that we have also studied about the long data type and its size is 8 bytes. So it can allocate 8 byte memory space on the RAM. Okay. So this is what is the long that is used with the float. Now let's move at the examples of it. So here you are seeing that we have uses an example here, long float A. So A is acting as a variable here. So A is a variable here whose data type is float, so it can allocate 8 byte of memory space onto the RAM. And here we have uses the long. Float can allocate what kind of memory? 4 byte of memory on the RAM, and long can allocate 8 byte of memory space on the RAM. So this is happening here is that a variable is of data type float, so it can allows only float value and its size is 4 byte, but because we have uses a long data type, long modifiers. Therefore, it allows to allocate 8 bytes of memory space on the RAM. So, a variable size is going to be incremented because of this modifier, that is long. And in the same way, we can say that this is also a variable whose data type is float, and whose modified is long and signed. So here you are saying that we have created a variable a whose data type is float, so it can allocate 4 memory space on the RAM. And because we have used the long modifier, and we have studied about the long, that it allocates 8 byte of memory space on the RAM. So a variable is going to be larger, the memory of variable a is going to be incremented because of this long modifier. And we have studied about the sign modifier, that is, it can allow positive as well as negative number. So this variable can allow positive as well as negative number with float data type, with float value. So this was all about the short and long modifier that is used with the float. In the next video, we will learn about the short and long modifier that is used with the double. So thanks for watching. Dhanyavad.